Spotlights lit more than just the stage. Behind the scenes in Hollywood, few friendships seemed as natural and as profitable as that of Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It all started in 2016, during the screen test for Central Intelligence. Kevin walked into the room joking with the security guards and teasing the size of Dwayne's trailer, which looked more like a mobile home. The Rock, laughing, replied with a big grin. "Man, your trailer's smaller than my gym bag." The chemistry was instant. Producers noticed. Executives saw dollar signs. And the audience, of course, fell in love. Jumanji solidified the connection. Two opposite worlds, the small, hyperactive comedian and the former wrestler with a slow, charismatic delivery, creating something more powerful than a partnership. A brotherhood that sold millions. Social media became their stage for pranks and playful jabs. Kevin hid The Rock's weights at the gym. The Rock showed up at Kevin's birthday dressed as a fairy. Each prank, each joke, each spontaneous video drew millions of views. Brands, shows, podcasts, anything involving the two turned to gold. But what no one saw, or pretended not to, were the tired looks backstage. The jokes, no matter how funny, were starting to cross lines. Kevin, always the instigator, sometimes went too far with personal digs. And The Rock, always smiling on camera, began collecting silences that spoke louder than words. During a late-night shoot in Atlanta, a crew member remarked with a chuckle, "Man, Kevin's really going in on The Rock today, huh?" Another replied, "That's real friendship right there." But no one asked how The Rock felt about it. Not even Kevin. Backstage, an assistant swore she overheard Dwayne saying quietly in his trailer, "Sometimes, it feels like he forgets I'm human too." And that's where it all started to shift. Away from the cameras, beyond the filters and scripts, the first crack began to form in a friendship that, until then, had seemed unbreakable. It was a muggy morning in Los Angeles. A multimillion-dollar commercial shoot for a global energy drink brand had once again brought Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson together. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Cameras were in place, executives on set, and everyone was expecting another show from the duo. Kevin arrived first. Full of energy as always. He cracked jokes about the production crew, the wardrobe, even the van driver. When The Rock showed up, imposing, tight shirt, restrained smile, Kevin didn't miss a beat. Here he comes, the walk-in closet. Bet it took him 3 hours just to squeeze that bicep into his shirt. Laughter erupted on set, but Dwayne's smile was quick and forced. The first scene went smoothly. But between takes, while the crew adjusted the lighting, Kevin decided to improvise. He climbed onto a speaker and launched into a comedy monologue. "Guys, did you know The Rock cries watching The Lion King? I swear. The man can lift a helicopter with his teeth, but he breaks down over a baby lion." More laughs. Dwayne clenched his jaw. Kevin kept going, thrilled by the attention. And get this. One time he told me he had a panic attack before a WWE match. I said, "Dude, you're The Rock, not the Pebble." The whole set burst out laughing. Except one person. Dwayne turned his head. Stayed silent for a few seconds. Then, in a deep, steady voice, he said, "Kevin, take off the mic. 5 minutes outside." The silence was instant. No one had ever seen Dwayne Johnson like that. It wasn't the look of someone who was hurt. It was the look of someone who felt betrayed. Kevin stepped down slowly. Tried to lighten the mood. "You mad about the Pebble thing, huh?" But The Rock's expression wasn't playful. It was heavy. Something had crossed a line. The two left the set. Cameras didn't roll. No audio was captured. But several crew members reported the same thing. A muffled, heated argument, ending with the sound of a door slamming hard. Dwayne came back first. Walked past the set in silence, grabbed his phone and left. Kevin didn't return that day. The crew canceled the shoot due to technical issues. But the truth was already spreading in messages and whispers. Kevin Hart had gone too far. And The Rock wasn't laughing. The studio hallway was empty, but the air was heavy. Outside, Dwayne Johnson paced back and forth, fists clenched. He'd dealt with rivals in the ring, demanding directors, overbearing fans. But nothing rattled him like what he had just heard from his own friend. Kevin Hart showed up a few minutes later, still wearing a nervous grin, as if it had all been just another joke gone sideways. But one look from The Rock was enough to shift the tone. "Man, you know I was just messing around," Kevin said, trying to lighten things up. Dwayne stepped forward, eyes locked in. "You used things I told you as a friend. Stuff I've never shared publicly. And you made it a joke. In front of everyone." Kevin tried to push back. "It was just a bit, man. That's what we do. You clown on me all the time too." "There's a line, Kevin." Dwayne snapped, his voice rising. Do you know what it's like to spend years building an image, trying to show strength and still be honest about my struggles? And then you turn that into some cheap stand-up routine? The silence hit like a gut punch. This time, Kevin didn't respond. The smile faded. For the first time, he seemed to realize this wasn't just a passing spat or a misunderstood joke. I trusted you. I told you about the time I almost gave up. About the depression, my mom, the panic attacks before going on stage. I thought you understood. You've been through your own shit too. But no, you used it to get a laugh. Dwayne took a deep breath. Looked Kevin dead in the eyes. You crossed a line even an enemy wouldn't cross, let alone a brother. Kevin shook his head like he wanted to say something, but the words didn't come. He just lowered his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he looked small, and not because of his height. The studio's back door swung open with a bang. Dwayne walked out, leaving Kevin standing alone in the hallway, staring at the floor like he understood that something inside him, and between them, had broken. That night, the tabloids didn't know what had happened yet, but the whispers had already turned into a quiet storm. Crew members were talking behind the scenes. One assistant director posted a cryptic tweet. It's sad when the laughter ends and all that's left is silence. For the first time in years, the world was seeing Kevin and The Rock away from the spotlight, and their friendship far from unbreakable. In the days following the incident on set, the silence was deafening. Kevin Hart, known for posting funny videos daily, went quiet. No stories, no reels, no jokes about The Rock. Dwayne Johnson, who also maintained a strong Instagram presence with workouts, motivational reflections and fan interactions, grew more distant. He posted only a black and white photo with the caption, "Respect is a pillar. When it cracks, the whole structure shakes." The internet went on high alert. Did they fight? Is it a PR stunt? Is the friendship over? Hashtags like hashtag Team Rock and hashtag Team Kevin started popping up as if it were a public showdown, and in a way it was becoming exactly that. Gossip sites began digging into their movements. An editor at a major outlet published an article titled, "From Allies to Strangers. What's going on between Kevin Hart and The Rock?" Old photos of the two together resurfaced, like memories from better times. So did memes. And theories. A supposed crew member from the commercial leaked to a blog that Dwayne had left the set furious, and that the production had to pay penalties for delays. Another insider claimed Kevin had tried reaching out in the days after, but his calls were ignored. On Twitter, one fan pointed out something even more symbolic. For the first time in years, Kevin Hart posted a photo and The Rock didn't like it. Kevin was the first to break the silence, but cautiously. During an interview recorded weeks earlier, he was asked about his friendship with Dwayne. The host joked, "You and The Rock are always together, huh? I bet you guys sleep in bunk beds." Kevin gave an awkward laugh, glanced to the side and replied, "Sometimes, we lose ourselves in the character." That was all. But it was enough to set the media on fire. The public split. Some accused Kevin of crossing the line, saying he always used humor as a shield for disrespect. Others said The Rock needed to chill and stop taking everything so seriously. But there was one detail few noticed. Amidst it all, neither of them followed each other on Instagram anymore. Days turned into weeks. A project that had been planned, a podcast featuring both of them, was quietly canceled. A joint endorsement deal with a major brand also disappeared from the radar. Everything that had once symbolized success and partnership turned into thin ice. And so, in front of millions of followers, Hollywood's most charismatic friendship froze in real time. No public fights. No long statements. Just silence. ChatGPTs. Months had passed since the incident on set. The media had gone through every angle of the story, and fans remained divided between hashtag Team Kevin and hashtag Team Rock. But deep down, what everyone really wanted was to see that giant friendship, the one that inspired millions, back on track. It was in an exclusive interview with a major magazine that Dwayne Johnson decided to open his heart for the first time. It's not easy to be strong all the time. It's not easy to show vulnerability, especially when your job demands you look invincible. I shared things with Kevin because I trusted him. When that trust became a joke, it didn't just hurt my ego. It hurt my soul. He paused, staring into the distance as if recalling fresh wounds. But true friendships have their ups and downs. It's not always perfect, and sometimes we need space to heal. On the other side, Kevin Hart posted a video on social media, his voice cracking and without his usual jokes. "I messed up, but it was never my intention to hurt Dwayne, much less the friendship we built together. I got lost in my way of doing humor and didn't think about the consequences. I hope he can forgive me. I want to fix this. Because without him, I'm nothing. The Rock's response came quietly but powerfully. They arranged a private meeting away from the cameras and spotlights. An honest conversation, full of sincere apologies but also explanations and understanding. It wasn't a classic happy ending, but a real moment of humanity. Both acknowledged their mistakes and decided that for their friendship to continue, things needed to change. More respect. More care. More truth. A few weeks later, a simple photo. Kevin and Dwayne together again, sitting side by side in a circle, laughing softly. No heavy jokes, no sharp digs. Just two friends rebuilding. Hollywood and the world watched quietly, hoping that what had broken could, with effort, be put back together. Because, in the end, even the brightest friendships can have dark days, and what matters most is the will to stay together despite everything.